Changes in your workouts. How can they affect your sleep? Watch this.
Our first caller is Steven from North Carolina.
Steven, what's going on, man? How can we help you?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
What's happening?
Perfect. All right. First of all, man, just want to thank you guys for the content that you guys put out. I think you just make me a better husband, a better dad, and a better brother, and so on. So
Thank you.
Thank you guys for that. It's definitely improved my holistic outlook on not just fitness, but life. So thank you guys for that.
Appreciate that.
My question is, I'll turn 40 in July. I have the RGB bundle and I've cycled through the program with great results. I'm currently training 3 days a week, but during the summer, I noticed that when I went to an upper-lower split, I was having better results with body adaptation, sleep, and energy. I recently transitioned back to MAPS Anabolic in an effort to gain some strength. I'm seeing great results, but noticed that my sleep was off. Last week, I added some drop sets and noticed a significant increase in my sleep and energy. What do I attribute this to? I'm not sore after working out, but I feel like my weight is progressing. What are your next steps for recommendations? And I kind of put some notes in here. My sleep, my slow wave sleep and my deep sleep probably went up from 3 hours to about 3.5, 4 hours. My HRV was up about 10 points, pretty consistent with calories at around 3,000. And if I had to put a goal on this, I'd say my goal is just optimal health and longevity.
Okay. I don't think the drop sets are what improved your sleep. So many things can affect sleep, including just lifestyle and what's happening during the day and temperature of your bed. I mean, there's so many things that can affect this. I don't think a drop set, it's not like you went from not being active to being active. You were already active. Now, the occasional increase in intensity can induce some nice adaptation. Typically, though, you'll need to back off so you can go short spurts.
Can we peer into that a little bit more, though, Sal? Like, I do have a question around like your activity level outside of the workouts. What does the rest of your day look like? Are you pretty sedentary? Do you move? Do you walk? Do you track steps?
I'm probably 8,000 to 10,000. I don't try to overdo it. I was overtraining there for so long, and I think you mentioned a couple of podcasts ago that if you had to schedule a deload week for anybody, it would be Sal. And I kind of train like that. I train first thing in the morning, 3 days a week, maybe 1 day a week. I do the sled, but not heavy, just to get moving. Doing mobility on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I consistently wake up at 5 o'clock, just trying to be consistent. Just like I said, longevity is where I'm key. I'm not overdoing steps by any stretch of the imagination.
Now, you said you're not sore, but you are getting stronger.
For sure.
Oh,
for sure. Like I've seen my deadlift go up maybe 5 pounds or something like that. I'm not sore at all. I actually feel energized when I leave, which is the feeling that I want. I'm just trying to see what, if I went from MAPS Anabolic and then threw in some drop sets, there's all kinds of, I realize there's all kinds of different variables, but I'm just trying to pinpoint from a training perspective, is there something that I can increase or add?
No, I would follow up MAPS Anabolic with MAPS Performance for sure, especially if you're looking for longevity. Mm-hmm. It's the perfect follow program to MAPS Anabolic. It's going to move you in different planes of movement. You're going to add some rotation. It's going to help with your joint integrity. And it's a very similar program in terms of stress on the body. So if you respond well to MAPS Anabolic, you'll do very well with MAPS Performance.
And it sounds like we're trying to speculate on what get to the bottom of what gave me this great sleep. It's more likely something related to either nutrition or stress.
Yeah, lifestyle probably.
So I don't know what your currently has happened at work or with your wife or anything like if something like that, that's more likely to have attributed to a good night's rest than adding a drop set into your routine. So it'd be different if you were, and that's why I asked about the steps. Like if you were like this really sedentary person and then all of a sudden you went to working out, like absolutely that can make a major impact on your sleep. But you've already been doing all that and adding a drop set or an extra set or adding more weight to that and then sleep being amazing that night. It's more likely related to personal stress that you have or don't have going on in your life, or nutritionally. Like the other thing too is like I notice this when I make a choice to eat earlier in the night than when I eat closer to bed. Like when I give my body time to fully digest the food and I go to bed like hours later after eating versus eating really close to bed. That makes a difference in how good a sleep I get. So it's more likely something like that was what we would
just the
attribute to.
consistency of like hitting that same time I go to bed and the same time I wake up, like that plays a massive factor for me as well. If I interrupt that, it tends to kind of like throw everything off.
Yeah, and the other thing too, Stephen, is typically it's stress. However, it can also be excitement. So people, any change from baseline can affect your sleep. So, if I have something exciting, like something good that's happening the next day or the next week that I'm anticipating, that'll affect my sleep like stress will. So sometimes people just think it's, something negative, but it could be something exciting, like, oh my God, I'm going to go on vacation, or oh my God, I'm going to go do that interview I'm so excited about, or whatever. That'll affect anything that's outside of baseline can affect your sleep.
The other thing to look for is, I don't know if you're a coffee drinker or not, but I notice a huge difference on the days that I get my caffeine consumption earlier versus if I let it go a little bit out. Me drinking a caffeine drink
like at
1 hour or 2 hours later than I normally do will make a difference on my sleep that night versus me getting it really early.
Totally.
So pay attention to those things too if you're a caffeine drinker.
Yeah, I think performance worked really well for me. I think aesthetic was a lot, but I finally got through it. The caffeine I've kind of taken back before noon. So I have my last cup before noon, and I'm probably somewhere between 350 and 400 milligrams there. So don't really try to overdo it. But it was just when I was doing anabolic, went through anabolic, performance, aesthetic, and then I went to Joe DeFranco's SB911, tried that, where it had some unilateral movements in there and got some great results from that. So just trying to figure out what that next step was from, I don't have a lot of stress at home. Home life's great, job's great. I'm kind of in that sweet spot right now. So just really trying to just optimize my health and longevity.
What about like old timey for him?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's okay. Now that I know more about the programs you've done.
Yeah.
Do you like doing different kind of workouts too?
I love to be challenged. I think for me, as long as I'm challenged and I'm working towards a goal.
Yeah. Done deal. We're gonna send you.
Love this
we're gonna send you
program.
maps old time. You're gonna train like bronze era strength athlete.
Yeah.
You'll love that.
And you've done some great
It's one of my
programs
favorites.
with Joe's and ours. Like,
See, now that we know that,
this will be something very unique, and so that'll send a new signal. That'll be good. For
you're
you.
kicking ass, by the way.
Yeah.
You're doing real well, man.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I'm trying to be just trying to take from you guys, right? Take little bits and pieces of learning experiences and failures and just adapt that, like I said, holistically. It's not just about fitness for me. It's, man, I got to be a great husband. I got to be a great dad. I've got a little girl also. So just trying to make sure I set the good example for them and be a great leader at work as well. So just holistically,
perfect.
just want to be a better person.
Yeah, man.
You'll love maps old time.
Yeah.
Good suggestion.
Yeah, I'd love to hear back from you as you go through it too. You'd be a great person to hear how it turns out.
We're gonna shoot that over to you.
Yeah. Oh man, that's perfect. Thank you guys, man. I genuinely appreciate that. Thank you.
You got
Thank
it,
you,
man.
Yeah.
All right, have a great one.
You too.
Thank you.
Doug, will you also send him a coupon code for 50 off of 40 plus because of the lifestyle stuff in there?
that's good,
I think he'd get a lot of value from that.
Growth-minded.
I definitely like. Yeah,
He's a growth-minded individual. As we continue to talk, you could just hear that he's, being growth-minded. It's like you're always going to get better. You're always going to improve, and he comes across as that way. So that's awesome. And when we heard all the programs he went through, it's like a great mix.
Yeah. He's got a great foundational base.
I do want to continue the conversation a little bit between us on the sleep thing,
Yep.
right? So
Excitement will do it too.
Because by the way, I totally this is something I think about a lot, right? And I have these nights where it's just like, whoa, that was so good, or my score on my Oura Ring or 8, and so the order I'm going through, like one of the last things I think about was something I did in my workout. Because that's if I'm consistently
if you're like super overtrained, then
right. So exactly. If I did something like that was really out of the norm, like all of a sudden I decided to do hill sprints,
20 sets of squats,
or I push myself, like okay, then maybe I'm peering into that. But that's not normally what I'm doing because that's relatively consistent in my life of like as far as my training routine, intensity, days, all that stuff like that is. So I'm like, okay, Caffeine is normally a big one for me to look at right away. Did I eat? How did I eat? Diet-wise? Yeah, diet-wise, was I on point? Did I close dinner out earlier? Also, getting ready for bed. You know, did I stay away from electronics? I noticed the earlier I do that, the better. I know we tell people just an hour or two before, but I notice
it makes
the more
I get more sunlight.
Yes. Did I go out? Did I go outside? And so that's. I just want to give. I
just remember specifically. Even this was. I thought of you, Adam. Like there was a purchase you were going to make. I'm not going to get into too many details, but you were so excited. You didn't sleep for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Remember you kept texting.
Oh, no.
I had terrible sleep because it was this thing you were excited about.
Yeah. No, it ruined my sleep for an entire week. And so, those are like, I'm checking that. And I saw he was taking notes. That's why I wanted to go over more with him so he can go like, I'm going to go look at all those things and go like, what variables did I change last night that is most likely to have made that greatest impact? And this intra workout stuff is less likely unless it was way dramatic or over the top, right? Like you said, like overreaching.
Shift, yeah.